Hello everyone! Today I'm reviewing the last Unicorn Tarot deck, which, before I get into all of the cards, I just want to say that the concept of this tarot deck makes a lot of sense to me. The Last Unicorn is just a very magical movie, and I feel like it carries the same kind of magic as tarot, so the combination of the two really makes sense. It's also worth noting, and I mentioned this in my review for the Ocean Tarot deck, it is worth noting that this deck is one of the more expensive ones that I own. It was almost $80, so that's a lot, but in this video, I guess we'll decide whether it was worth it. I'm just teasing. Anyways, okay. So these cards are really beautiful. Specifically, I love the design on the back of the cards. I love the reflective gold. It also, it's on the edges too. Once again, I don't know the word for that. I don't know if those are gilded edges. I don't know. But the backs of the cards are so pretty, and I like how there's reflective gold not only around the border, but also how there are flecks of it. I don't think it's showing up well on camera, but they're flecks of it on the card, so it's pretty. Also worth noting, this design is the same upright and in reverse, as we can see. And I really like this this shade of purple, very very mysterious. But yes, so let's get into some of my favorite cards, which this deck does have very beautiful art. It is just the art style of the movie, so it's not necessarily anything transformative, but it really does not need to be, because the movie, it's beautiful artwork, and the deck reflects that very well, and I feel because the art style in this deck is just it's exactly the art style of the movie. It maintains that sort of esoteric air to it, basically, which is especially impressive because I was looking at the guidebook, which we will discuss more later because this is a very good guidebook, but they had a bunch of different artists working on this, so it's cool that it the art managed to stay so consistent. Good stuff. Anyways, yes, so my favorite cards in the deck. Oh, also I like this the bottom of each card. I like the little sign. Anyways, yes, so this is the Three of Cups. It just feels very jovial, and I like the shades of green. The Two of Wands, I really like the color palette on this card. It's very very mysterious. Then the Ace of Cups. This card is just so bright. I love how golden the fountain is. It just lots of it just feels like a happy card. And then the Nine of Cups. I liked this representation for it. I liked that they included the scene of the skeleton who wanted to taste wine. I thought that was a good portrait for the Nine of Cups. Oh, and the High Priestess. Yeah, there are quite a few cards in this deck that utilize this sort of kind of light blue, light purple color palette, and I really like it. I think that and we'll discuss this more when I show off more of these cards, but I think that some of the imagery in this deck is very very powerful, and I really like this card, especially because in the guidebook it talks about how the different reflections in her eyes represent a sort of duality, which is associated with the High Priestess, and I really like that. I also like how they included the pomegranates, because that's typical of that's typical symbolism of the High Priestess, even though it wouldn't otherwise be in this card if it was just a direct portrait of the scene. This is the Empress. I like this one just cause I like the vegetables. I like the way the vegetables are drawn on this card, and I like how kind Molly looks in this one. This is the Moon, and we see that sort of color palette again. Very very powerful imagery, and in the guidebook they talk about how the reason why this image is associated with the Moon Tarot card is because the witch had been creating various illusions, which is which is obviously like associated with the moon card, but there was also like real magic at play, so it was like determining what was real magic and what wasn't, which, you know, very, very good symbolism for the moon. And this is the Ten of Cups, again, like a very happy card. I like the reflection of the unicorn in the water, and I also think that like, since the card is so colorful, it kind of is like evocative of a rainbow, which you would see in the Rider-Waite-Smith Ten of Cups card, which is nice. This is the Eight of Swords. I love this card so much. I love how like her unicorn form is drawn like a ghost. I think that's just like very, very powerful imagery. I really like it. And we see that sort of like cool, like lighter, cooler color palette once again. This is the Queen of Cups. Once again, Molly just looks really sweet in this one, and I like it. This is just a very calming card. And this is Strength. I love the Strength card so much, especially I like how, I think that the fact that in this card, like, the unicorn is the one who is portraying strength just because it's very like representative to me of like what the message of the Strength card is supposed to be, and I like that. And the Seven of Wands, I love all of the unicorns behind her. I love the fire. Yeah, just very powerful card. The Nine of Swords, once again, very powerful, very dark, very foreboding, which is fitting. And the Tower, I love how it's just, I really like the visual of all these unicorns running, and I like the tower like crumbling in the background. I think it's so fun. And the Star, something I really like about this deck, so like the art on the front of the box is the Star card. Something that I really appreciate about the concept behind this deck is the fact that, like, in the movie, like, the unicorn's existence is just like a message of hope, you know? And I think it makes so much sense for her to be just like on the Star card, and like it makes even more sense for her to be on the front of the box, because I think that just her presence in the movie is very indicative of what like the Star represents. So I don't know, it makes sense to me that it's on the front of the box. And this is the Sun, just so bright. Yeah, this card is just really bright, which is also, it's also special because a lot of these cards have like a darker color palette, and so the use of the like the warmer colors on this one really stands out. I like it. Now, something else I want to point out about this deck is that there are 2 cards for the lovers, which I think is fun. I like it because, you know, on the one hand, like, okay, so the first time I showed this tarot deck to my friend, he was like, oh, if the titty tree isn't there, I'm gonna be disappointed. And here she is. But yeah, I like how they have like 2 different lovers cards, because I feel like there's like a good balance between like silliness and seriousness, and they even like have 2 different pages for these cards, like in the guidebook, so presumably it would like mean different things if you like pulled each one of these. It's just fun. I like it. Anyways, let's get on to the guidebook. So this guidebook is the fanciest guidebook that I have. Like, there is no doubt about that. Like, you see this binding, like, wow, it's an amazing guidebook. When we actually get, boom, right off the bat, what do I turned to it. Yeah, there's like that lover's card, and I guess, yeah, and then there's like the other one, different meanings for both. Anyways, yes, but the interpretations in this guidebook are very good, very solid. And like the way they operate is there's like a longer interpretation for the card that like describes the scene being depicted onto it, being depicted on it, and like tying that into the meaning of the card. And there's like a shorter kind of reverse interpretation. Yes. Very good guidebook. This deck, honestly, it amazes me so much. But yes, I believe I believe that is all I have for you guys today. Overall, I do really like this deck. As I said, it does really amaze me, and I think that the pairing of like the Last Unicorn plus Tarot just like makes a lot of sense. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.